Welcome to Doc's Download, the podcast edition, where real conversations meet real Buckeye life. I'm your host, Dr. Melissa Shivers, Senior Vice President for Student Life, and better known as Doc, here to bring you stories, strategies, and a few laughs along the way. Whether you're a brand new Buckeye or a seasoned one, consider this your all-access pass to tips, truths, and triumphs straight from the heart of campus. Let's dive in, everybody. Welcome back to Doc's Download, the podcast edition, where we break down the big questions that matter for students, professionals, and lifelong learners. I am your host, Doc, and today we are tackling something that is on everyone's mind. This notion and question of what's next, career readiness, internships, and the real-world skills that really set us and certainly our students apart. I am so lucky that today I have three incredible guests with me who know how to talk about this topic inside and out. So how about we just jump right in, everybody? Sounds good?
Sounds good.
All right. So before we jump into today's conversation, I'd love for each of you to just briefly introduce yourselves to our friends listening in, share a little bit more about your role and how you support students. But probably the most biggest important question is, what do you love about Ohio State? Because I think that always helps to frame the perspective of which we operate and share our responses. All right, I am going to start with you, Nancy. Tell us a little bit about you.
All right. I'm Nancy Thompson. I'm with Buckeye Careers. I've been a part of Ohio State and this amazing community for over 11 years. My role, it varies almost every day, to be honest with you, whether it's meeting with a student, sometimes getting contacted by parents, employers, the state. It varies every day. One of the things that I love about Ohio State is that instant connection. I've had this amazing opportunity in my life and career to travel globally, and I've wear Ohio State everywhere. And how many times I've heard somebody yell, OH, and that stranger becomes a friend. So for me, that's one of the special things about Ohio State that will always live with me.
That's awesome. Zach, you're up next.
All right. I'm Zach Howman. I'm Senior Career Advisor with Buckeye Careers. Primarily in my role, I'm meeting one-on-one with students for a bunch of different topics, and one of them is career readiness. So very excited to talk about that today. But I also do workshops and all those other things to help with different classes and all that to discuss all of these really important career topics. Probably my favorite thing, I'll do two things on campus. I've been here just over a year, so I'm still learning campus. But one of them is just the feeling of fall. I love the fall. The energy on campus is my second fall here. So loving that energy, the leaves, the weather, and football. That's always just such an amazing environment here on campus that I absolutely love. And then one of my other favorite spots on campus is Mirror Lake. I get the chance to walk by it every morning on my way into work, and it's just so peaceful and just so quiet. I love the water, so it's just a really amazing environment. So love all those things, and I'm sure more things will be added to that list as I stay here for longer.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Zach. And Taylor, hi.
Hello, my name is Taylor Kuhn. It's no surprise that I also work in Buckeye Careers. And like many folks who work in higher education, I wear many hats, but my main job is to support the student employment experience, or what you might hear referred to as the C program. We work helping students to realize the importance of on-campus employment, helping them to find it, something that is going to really resonate with them and help with their experience while they're a student here on campus. But we also work with the supervisors of students to make sure that they're feeling comfortable in supervising, that they have all the tools that they need to create a really great experience for our students who are choosing to work while they're here on campus. And I actually went to Ohio State as an undergraduate student myself, and I was a first-generation student. So I grew up in Southeast Ohio, graduated high school with a class of 50 students, and so one of my favorite things about Ohio State is honestly the size. And I think coming here to Columbus, as an undergraduate student, there were just so many opportunities, not only in Columbus as a city, but also specifically at Ohio State. And that's just something I didn't have in my small high school. And so I really appreciate that there are so many different communities here at Ohio State. Like, while we do have a big Buckeye community, of course, you can always find your community, you can find your niche, you can find someone who shares your passion, which I think is really cool.
That's awesome. Now, to my guest, it should be very clear to you why we have these dynamic folks here who have a passion for Ohio State, but also really understand what it is that students and employers and others are needing to really try and tackle and get prepared for careers after Ohio State. So I'm going to start with you, Zach. We use this term, career readiness. We know how significant and important it is. Students and families choose institutions. Hopefully, they have a major in mind. Sometimes they come to explore that major, which then means they're also exploring what type of career do they want to have. But sometimes they don't know what does it mean to know that I'm career ready. Tell us a little bit about career readiness from your perspective.
A great question. Hopefully I can give you a good answer for that because it's so many things. I think a big part of being career ready is being open to new possibilities and new options. I think students kind of have their perspective when they come to school that they should know, what that path is. That linear path is just, I should know I have this major and I'll have that career after graduation. But I think it's a lot different than that. I think something we call planned happenstance in our work is something that I do a presentation on often. And really that's just the embracing of new experiences and being open to learn new things. So I think being career ready is being open first to those possibilities and new opportunities. And that includes being, exploratory when it comes to different things on campus, even if it's a social group or something like that. But obviously also being open to meet with us at Buckeye Careers or another college office to learn more about what's out there. So being able to have those conversations, I think, is really, really valuable and in the first step of that where we can help them kind of guide them on that path. But I think the biggest part of being career ready is one, being open to the conversation to start learning and know that you're not going to know everything, but being able to have those conversations, I think, is the first step in being career ready.
So critical. And I love your perspective, particularly around, what was it, planned happiness?
Happenstance.
Happenstance. I was like, well, planned happiness, planned happenstance, it all works. But planned happenstance and embracing that as an opportunity. As an undergrad, I was a communication arts broadcast journalism major, and my belief was that I was going to graduate with that degree, and then I was going to go right along to ESPN and Sports Center, and I wouldn't know any of you people if that had happened. So planned happenstance helped me to find my path into student affairs. And so being open to exploring and thinking about what might make the most sense for you and being ready feels like a really good next step. I love the way that you framed career readiness and how to know that you're ready for whatever that next step might be. That's fantastic. Awesome. Thank you. Taylor, I think a little bit about the C program specifically, because that program is really designed to help students gain skills that can really position them well for employment post and certainly during their time at Ohio State. Talk to me a little bit about how does career readiness really sort of connect with what the C program does and is intended to do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a big part of career readiness, at least from the student employment perspective, is really those transferable skills. So we have seen lots of data, particularly from the National Association of Colleges and Employers, who have said that those transferable skills are the most important thing that they're looking for in recent college graduates. So things like being able to communicate, knowing how to be organized, knowing how to solve problems. Those are skills that you're using in every single role that you're doing, whether that's in a student organization as a college student or in your full-time career. And even when we're looking at full-time careers, doctors use these transferable skills, admin professionals use these skills. So I think also a big part of the college experience is learning how to learn and working on those transferable skills, which you are working on every single day. Again, whether you're in class, you're in your student organizations, if you're involved in student government or volunteer work or even sports, these are things that you're practicing every single day. So part of the C program is really just, or a big goal of ours, I should say, is helping students to recognize that a little bit earlier so that when they do create that resume, when they go into that first interview, they really know what areas to focus on and how to sell themselves in a way that still feels authentic to them.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Nancy, I'm going to jump to, but still, I think, connected to career readiness, to the importance of internships. Recently, President Carter announced as a part of his Education for Citizenship strategic plan that he would love to have 80% of our students have paid internships or experiences that have applicable skills and really help our students to be ready for whatever the next step might be. That is absolutely incredible. So what I hear you saying, Taylor, is that students who've had some sort of employment experience, they're gaining skills that can really parlay very well into an internship or a full-time job or helping them to think about graduate school. Nancy, talk to us a little bit about the significance of internships and what are employers looking for when they are considering hiring interns, and are they already thinking about how do I make this student a full-time part of my community if things work out really well?
Yeah, absolutely. Internships are great for both students and employers. For students, it's an opportunity to take what they're learning in their coursework and actually applying it in a real work environment or setting. And the world of work is rapidly evolving. I think about what it was like when I graduated many moons ago and where it is today, and thinking about what are those things that is meaningful to you as a student. I also tell students, you're also interviewing the employer. So it goes both ways. The employers are looking at an internship almost as a long interview process, and many times that's their goal, is they really do want to hire you. They look at this as their incoming talent pipeline. And then for students, it's an opportunity to try things, like Zach said about being open, putting yourself in an environment that maybe you're like, I've never been in this type of work environment. I'm not sure what it's like. Or I'm in a different part of Ohio. It's different from where I grew up. Thinking about those things, so it allows them to try different things and also apply what they're learning. The other thing that I think employers find very valuable about working with interns is not only is this the future of their organization, but there's things that they can learn from interns. Whether it's like, hey, this is my future customer. Let's learn about what's important to them. What is some different ways to look at solving a problem? So the skills that Taylor highlighted are exactly what employers are looking for. They're looking for students who are wanting and open to trying new things, communicating, building teamwork, problem solving, dealing with a lot of ambiguity. I think a lot of times interns might come into an organization thinking that their supervisor has all the answers. I can tell you, usually not. They're also going to be looking to you as the intern to say, help us solve this together. So I think those internships are really valuable because it allows a student to get out of an environment that maybe they're not used to, as well as an employer to be able to say, hey, we're learning something from our interns, as well as looking at the future of our company or organization. So internships are very powerful, and I'm super, super excited to see such an emphasis on internships for our students.
Us too. And certainly President Carter, if you're listening, we are going to support you in this goal. Our students are going to have outstanding internship experiences, and they will be ready for the world after leaving Ohio State. We're very excited about that. Nancy, something that you said is that the employers are also looking to learn. And in a program I used to be a part of called Leadership, we would always say that within every room that we're operating, we are teachers and learners, and that we constantly are wearing those two hats all the time. And I love that that can even apply relative to employers, and that those who are conducting or participating in internships can also share what they've learned that can be a benefit to the organization. And I think sometimes we think about it as a one-way. experience, that the student gets the job and the employer benefits. But really, and it's just about the student getting the job, but really it's also about the employer gaining knowledge to be able to help strengthen their employment base and thinking about issues that perhaps they haven't thought about before because they have another generation of employees in the workforce. So I love that, and I love the fact that we should all be teachers and learners all the time, but certainly in that space. All right, so if a student asks you directly, Zach, what's next? What one piece of advice would you give them?
That's a great question. I think it goes back to the ability to be open. I really do. I think, being able to be flexible and adaptable, when you talk about transferable skills that Taylor said, I think those are some of the best ones that you can have. Having that adaptive mindset is really valuable when it comes to where you're going to be in your career, because I think a lot of us, we've talked about that things change and you find something that you never would have thought that you would be in, and you absolutely fall in love with it. So I think having that mindset is so valuable, and it also allows you from, the competitive standpoint of getting an internship, it shows that you're really excited to think outside the box when it comes to one of these experiences too. So I think that type of mindset, going to talk to people you didn't expect to talk to, going to a room you never expected to be in, taking a class you may not have initially thought you'd ever need to take. I think all of those things can be really valuable in opening that mind up, and also just being ready to take that next step. So I think that's what I would suggest.
That's wonderful. And at what point, if you have a student who's saying, I feel like I should already know what it is I want to do, at what point can a student really think about and strongly consider this notion of career readiness and start to hone their skills? Is there a certain point in their journey, or does that truly just vary based on the student?
I think it varies completely. I meet with students from freshmen to PhDs. So I think there's so much room for the in-between where it's some freshmen are like, hey, I'm an accounting major and I know I want to be in accounting. And now it's what area of accounting am I going to go into? And then I have some PhDs that have done a complete switch. I'm currently working with a student that's switching completely into a career in consulting. So everything can change, and new experiences, I think, open up your eyes. So it's really exciting to see that variable, mindset between students. So I don't know if there's a direct answer to when. I just think it's a constant exploration that you should keep your mind open to.
Now, Zach, I've got parents listening who are like, I want to know exactly when they should be doing this so I can make sure that they're doing it and they're doing it well. So you just made some people very uncomfortable. I like the gray, but I also know that there are times when we're looking for the direct path and that we know exactly when it should happen, but that's not life.
Exactly.
Right? Life is about exploring and about pivoting. And we learned a lot about pivoting during the pandemic. Yes. But certainly that type of flexibility continues to be really important. Taylor, when I think about, from your perspective, what is it that you believe, if a student asks you that question, what would be your response?
Ooh, I agree with Zach. This is a good question and a big one, right? So when you were saying before about how you changed your mind about what you wanted to do, I absolutely empathized with that, because I think I changed my major in my undergraduate maybe 5 times before I finally landed on something that felt right for me. And honestly, I would say we're constantly asking ourselves that question, even now in our full-time roles, right? I don't think that it's a moment or a switch that flips, that, this is the moment you have to know what you want to do for the rest of your life, right? I think that's a question that is constantly evolving, that you're constantly learning more about yourself. We certainly see folks who change their career 20 years in, right? So I think just trying to find something that feels right to you and taking steps that feel right to you and being open, like Zach said, is truly really important, because you may try something like doing a volunteer experience or doing an informational interview where you reach out to someone just to learn more about what they do, might change your mind entirely. So I think having that open mind and constantly exploring yourself and what you enjoy is really just the key. And it's not just in college, right? It's for the rest of your life, which is big, but it's true.
That's true. That's awesome. Nancy, you get the last word on this one.
All right. Well, I think, honestly, thinking about your career is a lifelong skill. I think about all the twists and turns. Even my own career has changed from working an information technology auditor to now I'm in higher education. So I think it's really important for students to know it's okay. You don't know. And part of it too is building that confidence and recognizing your skills and your experiences and how they can translate to a new opportunity. I think about employers that I work with. I ask them, how many of you are doing what you studied in school? And it's not a large percentage. And I think the world of work is just the pace of evolution is quickening so much that you're going to see careers and jobs that don't exist today. They'll be the hot job in 2 years. And so I think for my advice to students, or when I'm talking to my nieces who are both graduating in May, thinking about this is a skill that's important for you to have throughout your whole life. And being able to reflect is really important. It helps you understand yourself and being honest with yourself about what's important to you and what you truly enjoy or what you don't enjoy. And a lot of that is being open and trying new things. So I think my advice to students to say, it's okay if you don't know all the answers. I certainly don't know all the answers at this point in my life either, but be open, try things, reflect, think about those opportunities and why you're excited about something or maybe why you're not, and recognizing your skills. And I think that's where a lot of times our offices can help students do that reflection with some of our questions, some of our skills and tools and resources to help them.
That's wonderful. Thank you. You know, this conversation makes me think a lot about the significance and the importance of higher education in general. This is an opportunity for students to be able to come in and explore, to gain the skills and experiences, to have access to information and individuals that help them inform not just what they want to be, but who they want to be. And we get to do that in concert and in tandem and in support of what our students are learning in the classroom. And we are very lucky because we get to watch that marriage happen. Whether we say it's curricular versus co-curricular, they don't know. They're just connecting a lot of the dots that helps them to crystallize more of what is it that I want to do. And being in a higher education environment really helps to support that. And that we know that internships and on-campus employment, those things are high impact practices that can directly lead to the employment or for graduate school or higher education that students may want to pursue. So what happens in this area on this campus and campuses across the country is really about helping people to develop. And boy, do we get very lucky when they find the major and the career that they absolutely love once, twice, or 3 times, because sometimes that happens too. So really, really, really appreciate all of you for the time that you've spent with me today and certainly with our listeners. Friends who are out there, I think I want to just leave you with the importance of leaving enough space. I'm using some of Zach's language here to be able to explore and really think about who you want to be and what you want to do. We have a great team here at Ohio State situated in our Buckeye Careers office and also those offices that sit within the academic colleges. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. Everyone wants you to be successful. And so how you make that outreach, whether you have a defined question or exploring, might be a benefit to you. We encourage you to do that. We are so happy that you've chosen to be Buckeyes, and we also want to make sure that you're successful once you leave the 4 corners of our campuses. It's okay to not have all the answers, but it's also really exciting and comfortable when you know you're at a place that can help you to get to that place. Until next time, this is Docs Download, the podcast edition. I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Bye-bye. Go Bucks. This program is a presentation of the Office of Student Life at The Ohio State University, recorded in the studios of WOSU Public Media. Your engineer is Dalton Jones, producers J. Randall Hicks and Matthew Swearingen, and executive producer Jen Vandemark. The views expressed are those of the host and guest and do not necessarily reflect those of the university. Join us next time for another edition of Docs Download, the podcast.